Hi guys, it's Nancy and I'm going to try something new today. So I have a new stamp from Spellbinders. We have a new collection of House Mouse design stamps. This is Birthday Wishes. It is RSC024. This is Monica and Maxwell. And this stamp has a large image and it's the mouse carrying cake, and one of the candles fell. It also has a couple sentiments. We're not counting candles. Birthday calories don't count. Delivering birthday wishes and make a wish. I have stamped it on some of the new Spellbinders Watercolor cardstock. I have stamped it on the smooth side. So I cut this out with my Spellbinders paper trimmer with ink on 3, no line, fade out ink, and I have a piece of paper towel, and here you can see, so it's a textured side and a smooth side. So I stamped it on the smooth side, and I'm going to use some of the Ranger Distress watercolor pencils. I have sets 1 and 2, and I'm using the new Spellbinders watercolor brushes. So these come in a set of 3. You have fine, medium, and bold. So I've already filled those with water, and I'm going to attempt to see if I can give this image some more detail. Now, I did leave the image in my MISTI if I want to go back and stamp this with more detail when I'm done, okay? So let's see if I can do this. I don't know. Bear with me. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I guess, I'm going to use the fine brush probably this whole time. And let's start with, oop, did I splatter water already? Sure did. I don't know. Let's start with the little mouse. So this one is Iced Spruce. I'm just grabbing a little color on my tip of my brush there. My brush is very wet. Let me bring my image in for reference. My brush is very, very wet. I want him to be kind of a light gray mouse. That's why I like these images, because it's fun to color with different mediums, whether you do, colored pencils or markers. They're just super cute, and they're not very hard at all to color in. Let's add a little bit of pink to his ears. This is Kish Flamingo. I'm not squeezing, and these brushes are very watery, very juicy. And this watercolor paper is staying nice and moist, giving us enough room to work with it. Probably dab some of that up a little bit. This little mouse just reminds me, what was that movie when we were growing up in the 80s? American Tail. What's it, this one? This reminds me of cute little... Oh, the classics. And since we have such bright pink out, we might as well do the icing on our cake, right? I really want to saturate this, so I'm going to go in here really and grab this. And I like to do the color right on my brush because then I have some room to work with it. I also like to scribble on my glass mat. You guys have seen me do that. Instead of taking the crayon to the paper and working it, because then I think it's harder to blend the color. I like to take the color and blend it from the brush or from the glass mat or a palette. Now my brush is starting to dry a little, so I'm going to take it off to the side and just give it a little bit of a squeeze, not too much. Okay, so there it's moistening up a little bit on the palette. So it doesn't take very much to get this water moving, which I like. Some of them I have a hard time with, and I really have to squeeze them to get the color out. These are nice. They're not too wet, but they're not too dry. So I like to have a little bit of control over my brush. You can control that water. You can control your concentration of color. And these are kind of opaque when they dry. They're not like a watercolor where they're real translucent. These dry like a crayon where they're kind of opaque. Not completely, but not like a watercolor where they're very translucent. Okay, let's see here. I like to start with my lighter colors so I can build up and add my darker colors, if that makes sense. So I think I'm going to add some yellows. I normally like to kind of put these at a little bit of an angle so they're easier to pull out of the tray. This is mustard seed. I'm going to go in and add a little bit of that to the flames of my candles here. think I want to add some fun teal to our cake. We're going to do salvage patina. Nice fine tip on this brush so it gets in and does a little detail work. I'm not doing very much here, just adding a little color. I think the tray should be purple. This is seedless preserves. Okay, I think we should add a little bit darker blue for our candles. This one is Salty Ocean. One of my dog hairs there, picked up on the table. I'm going to do a layer, and then I'm going to go back in and add a little bit darker layer. Okay, so our candles. All right, now let's see here. We need to color our bigger mouse. I think I'll do him in a little bit darker brown. This is Vintage Photo. bit of orange in with our candles. Oh, I missed a candle. Alright, that looks pretty good for our basic colors. We need to add a little bit more shadowing and detail. I do think I'm going to go over and re-stamp everything in the darker ink because I did lose a lot of detail. Taking some darker colors here and just adding some shadows. Okay, I need a little bit of gray, I think, on the ground. I'm going to switch over to the bigger brush. I think we should do the background. And all I do is just to clean the brush, I squeeze it a little and just wipe it off on the paper towel. And that's all that does to clean the tip. Now, your tip might stain, but that's not going to affect anything on the brush. And I'm going to go to the bolder, bigger background, or bigger tip. And it has B for bold. And we're going to do the background up top here. And I want to do a really light blue kind of wash of a background here. I don't know if I want speckled egg. I think that's kind of too dark. What do we have here? Salvage patina might be good. Let's see here. I do a wash of that and then bring it down and lighten it out. So let me really saturate my brush. Yeah, make that really light. There we go. Just kind of bring that in as a bright blue background. Like I said, bring that in as a wash, and I'm just bringing that in. Here we go. All right, now I want to bring the stamp back in because, again, these are very opaque colors. So even though we have our color down, we've lost some of our detail. Like, look at our little mouse. We lost some of our detail. So I do think I want to stamp over this in black just to bring some of that detail back in. So I think I'm done with my coloring. Yeah, could do it a little better next time, but hey, for my first time doing that, I'm not too unhappy with it. So, and this is pretty dry. Not really worried about warping. This paper's held up pretty well, so that's pretty good. Okay, so let's see about lining this up and restamping it. Like I said, I left the stamp in there and I had everything tucked into this bottom left corner, so it should all line up pretty good. And I'm going to use VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. Again, we're stamping on the smooth side. Oh, wow. Wow, what a difference. I'm not going to stamp that again. That looks really good. Oh, that looks really good. Okay, I'm going to clean this stamp. We're going to grab one of the sentiments. It's like, I can't believe I made that. That's like night and day. I made that? There is no trickery here, you guys. I do not edit my videos. I can't believe I made that. Wow. Who, me? If I can do it, you guys can do it. I can't believe I did that. Okay. Now we decide which sentiment we want. Okay, so we have, we're not counting candles, birthday calories don't count, delivering birthday wishes, or make a wish. I like delivering birthday wishes. So we're going to put this back in here. I think over here, delivering birthday wishes. See, I want to cut this down so I can put a pretty background. So maybe not. Make a wish. Because I want to cut this down and cut this down. So I don't want it too big. I'll do it here. And remember, when you're using the red rubber stamps, you want to take your foam piece out of your MISTI. So we always want to tuck this into the corner, which it is. Make a wish. That looks pretty straight to me. Ink that up. Ta-da! We got it on the first try. If we didn't, we could cut a sentiment out and glue it right over it. Perfect. All right, so that is perfect. Now I'm gonna, well, we're already here. We might as well finish up, right, guys? So I already have a card base made up. Let's get some pretty paper from Spellbinders. Since we have that pretty blue background. This is the new glitter spring tone cardstock. It's going to match our pretty blue candles. So we're going to cut this down to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And because I don't like to waste my cardstock, I'm going to cut out the center. So I still have a matte layer, but I have center that I can use to die cut something out of later. Yes, I could have got my dies out, but that's okay. So we'll save that. Oops, I need to cut my panel down. So we're going to cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4. Just going to cut a little bit off each corner or each edge. Oh, I didn't wait for it to dry and I smudged my ink. Wait for it to dry, you guys. Oh no! Well, I will be having to stick a sentiment on there. Oh, geez. Rookie mistake. Look at that. I smeared my ink on everything. This is why you wait for your ink to dry. Oh, my ink is everywhere. All right, I'm gonna let that dry before I glue that down. So wait for your ink to dry, then I'm gonna make a new sentiment. Stick everything down, but that's what it'll look like. And Nancy will redo the sentiment and put a new sentiment on there. Ugh, inky fingers. Well, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're impatient. Well, I did make a good card before I stuck my inky fingers all over everything. Well, there we go. But that is the new House Mouse stamps. Again, there's more than one. This is just the one that I picked out. Go check them out over at Spellbinders, part of the new April release. And the glitter cardstock is also available. Again, this is the glitter spring tone assortment. You get 2 sheets of dark pink, light pink, aqua, pale green, and white. So you get 10 sheets. We have the new watercolor cardstock. You get 10 sheets of that. So very nice cardstock to work with there. You can get the distressed crayons over at Spellbinders. Again, I used packs 1 and 2. We have the Spellbinders Watercolor markers. My first time using these brush markers, so very impressed with those. They worked out fine. Go check them out. If you have any questions, post them down below. If you had fun watching me make the card until I smeared my inky fingers in them, give me a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, I would love to have you as a subscriber. Click down here and then click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. If you have any questions, again, post them below. By the way, everybody asked, yes, this is the Spellbinders tape runner. I love it. It is super smooth. It is my favorite tape runner. I use it all the time. And these are the mini Spellbinders scissors. And of course, cannot forget my favorite trimmer. This is the Spellbinders trimmer that I was also using. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.